So in our last tutorial, we talked about what regular expressions, also known as regex, is. We discussed how to implement one, which can be done in two ways, either by using the literal notation, which is by enclosing the pattern in forward slashes, or by using the constructor, which is an object or class provided by our programming language, which is JavaScript in this case. So today we're going to be doing a little bit more, and this is where most people think it gets complicated, messy, confusing. But I feel like that is just due to the fact that regular expressions have a really steep learning curve, and even experienced programmers still struggle with reading regular expressions. And I feel like a good analogy would be if you were to compare it to sheet music, for example, or reading music theory. At first, when you're getting started, you're gonna have to get familiar with the symbols and the signs, the lines, the treble, the bass, and stuff like that. And before you actually start progressing to read the um, actual sheet music, actual compositions. And that is the same with programming, to be honest, and especially with regex, because at first you're gonna have to get familiar with the syntax. You're gonna have to get to know what those signs, the symbols, and the characters stand for, before you can actually get to having a full grasp, or being able to read uh, um, a block of code, for example. So today we're going to be discussing meta characters, quantifiers, and character classes in regular expressions. And as you can see on my screen here, I have a few definitions, because remember the last time, if we're just gonna do a little bit recap, last time what we did was, first of all, we defined a variable for our. Now you don't really have to have a variable, you can actually have everything in one line, but I feel like variable helps in making the code more readable. So I'm gonna have a variable for each yeah, for each string and each results and patterns and so forth. So I'm gonna say let my text equals, and in this case I'm just gonna have a single letter A, and I'm gonna say let my pattern, and this is where I'm declaring my regular expression, and I'm gonna use the literal notation, and I'm gonna look for a so I'm trying to match all instances of a in the text. And I'm gonna say let results equals which is gonna be text or pattern the test our text, and console the log results. So if I run this, as you guessed, it should return true, and that is because our text certainly does have the letter A in it. And so this is really the basic, but at some point, with coding and programming, your your requirements are gonna grow larger and bigger, and it's not just gonna be enough just finding a single letter character or digits. You're gonna have sequences, special sequences, whether you want there to be this specific um occurrence of letters, numbers, like and if it has to start with this, end with this, have ordered in a specific way. And this is really when meta characters, quantifiers, and character classes really come in handy. So the first thing I think should we're gonna go we're gonna talk about, yeah, we're gonna start with the wild card, which is the period character, and this literally matches with any single character. It could be a symbol, it could be a digit, it could be anything, and it's gonna return a match for that pattern. So for example, if I was to just remove this a and just add the period sign, and it's gonna return true. And one thing also to know is that meta characters are actually, you could say they are characters that are reserved by JavaScript in this case, but regex has different engines, so you probably I mean, this tutorial is designed for JavaScript, but this the syntax applies across all programming languages. And the period sign in this case is a wild card that matches for every single character. It could be a digit, it could be a symbol, and just like I said, okay, that was, I shouldn't use a quotation, I was just gonna use a digit, and that returns true. And just like as I was saying, meta characters are reserved by the programming language, so they are like, special characters, or special, sequence, you could say, that stands for something, or that means something when the pattern has been processed. So it's like, yeah. And we've seen that this period is a wild card, that matches for anything. And so if we, for example, had a triple A, we're also gonna get true. So but if we had, for example, a b, and I had a and a dots, or I'm just gonna put a b c, and if you're gonna guess that, you can see it's also gonna be true, because there's a the pattern is looking for the letter a and something, anything, literally, that comes after letter A, and once it finds that, it's going to return a match. But so let's say we have A B, and I'm just gonna put A B here, or A B C actually, and A B C in the text. If you just take a few seconds to think about what this is going to return, and this is actually going to return false, and that is because like I said, the period letter, um or the period actually stands for any character, and since our text only contains the literal letters A, B, and C, and the pattern is looking for something that comes after A, B, and C, there's not gonna return the match is, or it's gonna return false, since it doesn't correspond to what the pattern is actually looking for. But if we had A, B, and C, then we're gonna get true. So now the next thing we're gonna do, or we're gonna look at, is um, the quotation, or the question. Actually, we're still talking about meta characters. So let's do the carrots and the dollar symbol. Now we might not be able to go through every single one of this, and there's actually way more than is I way more than I put here, but we're gonna go through the most important, and so we're gonna start with the caret symbol, which I feel is really essential, because this occurs literally most of the time, and this actually states um, the start of the sentence or the string. So what we're talking about is that, for example, if you have I mean, normally, or by default, regular expression of registers is gonna match, or look for a match in the string, it doesn't matter, you know, the position is gonna, you know, as long as it can find the sequence. For example, let's say we have a number 1 2 3 4 5, and our pattern is, you know, looking for the letter 4 or the letter 3 and 4. So naturally, regex is going to find a match because the letter 3 and the numbers 3 and 4 is in the is in our you know string 1 2 3 and 4. But if we have the caret symbol before the 3 and 4, now we're specifying that we want the 3, we want the pattern, or we want there to be a match for the pattern at the start of the string. So it has to, 3 and 4 has to be at the start. And now let's see what this looks like in a code. And we're gonna do ABC, and I'm gonna put a caret symbol, and I'm gonna remove the period sign, and I'm gonna run this, and this is gonna return true. But let's say I had Z at the end and I did this, it's gonna return false, because I mean, like we said, the caret symbol is making sure is there to make sure that the sequence ABC occurs at the start or at the beginning of our line. And since the letter Z or Z precedes here, then the match is going to be a false. So that's basically what the caret symbol does. And you can say the opposite of the caret symbol is the dollar sign, which corresponds to the end of the line. So for example, if we had if I have a caret symbol, or sorry, the dollar sign here, and I removed the Z here, and this is gonna be true actually. And you might think, wait, what? So what is happening here is that regex really doesn't care. Like you know, it's this we're talking, you know, like it's really literal. So it what we're saying, if we're gonna read the or translate the pattern here, is that our what we're looking for has to start with the letters A, the specific sequence A, B, and C. So if I have A, D, B, C, that is not gonna work because we're looking for the specific sequence A, B, and C. So A, B, C, it has to start with that, and it has to end with that. So even if there's nothing after, in between, it has to, you know, regex thinks like this. Okay, what does this start with? Okay, start with A, B, C. That's a match. It goes on, like it forgets like literally what you know it is. Like it's, you know, it's you could say it's like synchronous. It's like I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like once it has finished matching, then it like the last match really doesn't apply to you know, the second way it's going to process the you know the pattern. So the next so after it's finished processing, what comes what our text starts with, and it's finds out that it starts with an A, B, and C, then that is a match. And now it proceeds to process the next meta character, which is the dollar sign, and that is, okay, what does it end with? Our line also ends with A, B, and C, so that is a match, and it returns true. So now if I had a space here, take a few seconds, that is gonna return a false, because even though we start with ABC, it ends with ABC with the space character. So if we're gonna make this be a match, then we're gonna have to put a period sign here, and because as you can, if you remember, the period sign is any character, and it starts with ABC and it ends, you know, with ABC and any character whatsoever. And so if I had But one thing also to know, maybe if I had ABC and I had 1 at the end, now this is going to be a false, and this is because even though because as if you remember from the definition, like the period sign matches any single character, and single here is a key word. So single, it has to be, it only stands for one character. So and you're probably thinking, okay, so what if we had double period characters? And that is going to be true, but I mean, it's kind of annoying. Like, no one really wants to have, multiple period. I mean, it's gonna, you can have period or dots for every single one, but there is a actual way to simplify this, and that is by adding a quantifier. Now quantifiers, you can see, yeah, just like it sounds, quantity, like how often it has to occur, and the asterisk symbol is really what we really need here, and we want we could just add a period and an asterisk symbol, and we're saying this could occur 0 or more times. So we're saying it has to start with ABC and it has to end with ABC, and some things or some characters, that could be anything, and that has to, it could be, it could occur as many times as it wants to. And if we want it to be, a specific number, then we could use this quantifier, which is the um, uh, yeah, this n symbol or n letter contained within the curly brackets. And so if I have let's see here, period sign, and then have curly brackets, and then just put 2, and if I run this, it's gonna be a false, and if I remove a 1 here, that should be a true, and that is because, the period sign or the any character, like it's a wild card, appears 2 times when I want it to appear 2 times. So, and if you want it to be within a specific range, maybe from 2 to 4 times, then you could have, and that is when we're using this one, this quantifier. So we have in curly brackets, we have n, we have a comma, and we have m. So it states that we want this to occur between a specific or within a range. So I could put 2 and comma 5, for example, and if I run this, it's gonna be false because now let's see, okay, why did I have a space there? It should just be a letter. So true. And now if I only had, for example, A, B, C and 2, that should be a false because we only have one one random character, you could say. And so the what comes after it has to end with ABC and a random character that is within the range 2 and 5, or occurs 2 to 5 times. And yeah, so and we could also, if you also want it to be or more, you could just have 2 and then just a comma, and this is going to return false. But if I just had 2 1 2 3 4 5, for example, it's going to return true because we're saying 2 or more. So next thing we're going to talk about is the last quantifier here. I mean, it's not the last, there remain more, but for this tutorial, the last quantifier we're going to talk about is the question mark. Okay, so the question mark is saying optional preceding character. So it's not we're saying it doesn't have to, we don't have to have it there, like so we're saying it's not compulsory, and I could just put if I have and it's the preceding character that it applies to. So if I just had ABC, and then so that should return false, because we have a little bit too much or too many, and this should return true, because we're saying it could be option, like it's optional, even if it's there, whenever it isn't there, like it doesn't matter. It's not taken into account whether, like, it literally just just pretends it doesn't exist, and it's gonna return a match as long as it ends with ABC, and it's saying the preceding character, which is a random character in this case. I could also have it too, actually, and it's also going to return true. So yeah, and that is it about quantifiers for now. And we're going to talk about we're gonna just do meta characters. I mean, a few of these are pretty much self-explanatory. For example, backslash W matches any word character, and also to take note, lowercase. I mean, the syntax here is case sensitive, so lowercase W matches for any word character, and the uppercase matches for non-word character. So it kind of like negates that. So, and lowercase backslash lowercase s matches for white space characters, and uppercase on the other hand matches for non-white case characters. And now one important thing that is good about regular expressions is character classes, because just imagine, for example, you want to look for a match within a specific range that is really wide. I mean, so maybe you want to match for maybe a name, for example, Joshua, for example, and you wanted to so let's say let's have Joshua here, Joshua, and we're gonna have a character class here, and so character classes, it's usually a specific range of letters or numbers, and if it's separated by if it isn't separated by a hyphen, then it's actually either or. But if it's separated by hyphen, then it's all ASCII characters between the the letters. So for example, if I have A and then hyphen and then Z, then we're saying it's gonna match for all letters that are within this range from A to Z. So I'm gonna now put Josh. We're gonna test A to A to, let's see. Actually, we're trying out for names. So we're gonna do Joshua, and I'm gonna do a character class, and I'm gonna say, and that is with straight brackets. I just call them boring brackets. So I'm just gonna say A to Z, and if it gets right, that is gonna return a true, because of course the letters Joshua, or the name Joshua, is occurs in the alphabets, every single letter. And but if I have, for example, A to K, for example, now that is going to return false. Okay, now maybe oh, that should of course also return true, because it matches for I mean, the letters A to K, what the letters within this range occur in the name Joshua. And so maybe if we want to say A to Z, and we want that to occur, there are 6 letters. Just gonna put here true, but if I had 7, and it's gonna be let's see here, according to our definition, actually a little mistake I made, which is to put a caret symbol, because we're we're matching the whole string, so the whole string has to follow this specific pattern. And one thing I did was I put the syntax was all wrong there. This should of course return a false, but if I had 6, then that should be a true, because you know A to Z occurs, or the letters within A to Z occurs 6 times exactly. And just to make it apply for the whole string, we could also have, you know, the carrots symbol and our dollar sign symbol, and that is also gonna return true. So now that is that about you know, matching, for example, letters. And if it was to, for example, be now a little test, if we had a A to Z. Now, as you probably guessed, this is going to return a false. But what if we added the, because in the last tutorial we talked about modifiers. So if I add an I, which is for case insensitivity, and I did that, that should be true, because if you remember, even though we said we're looking for, even though by the character class we stated that we want it to be uppercase, and if you remember what I said, like regex, you know, thinks forward, like what if what is ahead of the pattern negates, you know, what precedes, then regex is only, you know, it's gonna only take what is like ahead into account. So now we're saying, even though we stated earlier that we want it to be uppercase, by using the I modifier, now we're saying we don't care, like it could be lowercase, because this is a flag that stands for, you know, case insensitivity, like so that is going to return true. And yeah, and that applies, for example, if you're looking for a vowel, for example, you're going to do the same thing, and this is going to match for vowels, because we only have 5 vowels in the English language. And so you could construct as your own character class. And one also thing to note is that when we have the character character in a character class, then that actually means something else, because the caret symbol in a character class is a type of negation, and not as before, where it was meant the start of a sent, or the start of a sequence, you could say. So if I had you know, carrots and then A, B, C, now I'm saying it shouldn't be A, B, or C. And if I said not A or carrots and then A to Z, then I'm saying it shouldn't be a letter, literally. And yeah, so this is the, you know, absolute basics when it comes to meta characters, quantifiers, and character classes. And like I said, there are a lot, there are more or more characters, more you know, more rules, and depending on your specific engine, they can be, you know, more you could take into account. And yeah, so this is all we're gonna go through today when it comes to these three points or parts of regex syntax. And in the next tutorial, we're going to talk about more. We're going to talk about groupings. We're going to talk about how to implement regex for it. You know, we're gonna talk about real life scenarios. For example, regex for emails, for usernames, for IP addresses, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I hope this tutorial was really informative, and if you like this video, kindly hit the like button, and drop a comment if there's anything you wondering or you felt should be added. And a subscription also goes a long way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.